Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Let's jump right into The Predator. So with 2018's The Predator, it takes place after a military operation gone bad due to a predator showing up. Soldier Quinn McKenna is the only survivor of his unit, manages to take down the predator, strip him of his battle armor, and let the good old US government do their job in retrieving the body. US government obviously does not want the fact that there are aliens out there to be known, so they brand him a murderer, blaming him for killing his units during the Predator attack. But on the way to a holding cell, Quinn McKinnon is rounded up with a bunch of loose cannons, much like himself, and it's at this time where the Predator from the beginning gets out, and now they must stop him. And that's all pretty much said without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm just gonna tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with the rating system just like this one, breaking down the elements of the film and giving you a final ranking. Now with the Predator films, I really enjoyed them. I remember watching the Arnold Schwarzenegger one when I was a child with my dad. I absolutely loved that movie. Great one-liners, perfect classic 80s action film, and the Predator was just a badass hunting machine. As far as Shane Black goes, I like some of his movies. I really enjoyed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr. I somewhat enjoyed Iron Man 3. There were things I really liked about it. And of course, Nice Guys, one of the best movies of last year, I super enjoyed. So I'm willing to give this guy a shot, especially since he has a little bit of hand with the original Predator. And beating to the bush aside, I did not enjoy myself as much as I was hoping with this movie. I'm gonna go into some of the positives first. For one, the cast. Olivia Munn, Keegan-Michael Key, Trevante Rhodes, Sterling K. Brown, Thomas Jane. I was no doubt gonna automatically fall in love with each one of these characters just because they really decided to put some sort of star power in here. Mix that in with a little Shane Black written humor and they work perfectly together. Their interactions, the way they quip with each other, fight with each other, try and get along, I actually kind of enjoyed those parts. It was easy to get these characters to be likable for me. It was easy to get interested in them and their backstories as little as they were. Another thing I also enjoyed is the bits of action. These Predators are brutal, they're ruthless, gore, blood, guts. They don't hold back. Very happy with the R rating. Another thing I'm happy Shane Black was able to achieve in this film is adding some lore and background to these Predators. Now, they don't do a whole lot, but I think of it in the way as, you know how xenomorphs have had countless movies, the Prometheus series, and their own franchise. Through that course, we've gotten so much backstory, so much history with them that we're pretty familiar with the xenomorphs from start to end. With Predators and throughout their films, we just basically know they're hunters and they love to hunt for sport. With this film, we get a little bit of their motives, what they might be up to, their reason for always wanting to come to Earth, because the previous films are sort of loosely in context. They're mentioned in a one-off line. So I did like how they added some sort of background, trying to layer these aliens and give us a reason why they keep coming to Earth. But really, that's just where it all ends for me there, because I was severely disappointed with how this movie came out. I expected a lot better from a writer like Shane Black, but it's some of the things that he's best at that's sort of weak in this movie. Let me go into some of the negatives. For one, I know people aren't going to stand when I say this, but the movie was too funny. The comedic moments were overused. There are moments in this movie where I am feeling like I'm watching an SNL sketch making fun of a Predator movie. It's more heavily towards the beginning and middle of the film where the comedy is super heavy. Towards the end, it's more action-based, but the comedy is heavily implemented, and the fact that Shane Black is so good at writing dialogue and comedy is great because you will laugh, you will find it funny. But there's just too much of it going on in this action movie that I'm trying to get into the story, I'm trying to get into the narrative of what's going on, but when you're stopping every 5 seconds to make a joke and then expand that joke for 3-4 minutes, it breaks down the tension of this action movie for me. Along with that, some of the worst CGI effects I've seen in a big budget or just a Predator movie overall. I have a feeling that their priority list on the budget was star power and locations, because some of the locations in these movies are cool. You have a laboratory, you have a spaceship, you have the jungle, you have parts of the city. They really go all over the place and try to make it sort of an epic adventure, but with that, you notice the lack of budget on the actual Predators themselves, their invisible effect, their blood coming out, or blood on other victims. Sometimes it's done really well and it looks awesome, but a lot of times on the actual Predators themselves, the Predator dogs, or when they're tearing people apart, it's pretty noticeable you have CGI blood in the air and some video game looking characters. Other than that, it's just little things and attention to detail throughout the story and their overall narrative that when you put it all together, you realize you have a jumbled up mess. I can't go into too much because I don't want to spoil the movie for you. You also have confusing villains, whether it's this predator or that predator or these group of people that are your enemy, and at moments it just intertwines and does not work out. Before I go into rating the elements, I'm going to tell you this because some people are going to be unhappy with such a negative review that I'm giving this movie. There is a trick movies do. If they can get you to laugh and if they can get you to go, "Aw," to the action and gore, you're going to be tricked into liking this movie and thinking it was awesome. When I encourage you, when you watch this movie, pay attention to the story elements. Pay attention to how easily characters are able to do something or how easily they explain one thing to another. When the movie makes you laugh, awesome, great, accept it, but then go again and pay attention to the story because it's gonna trick you with adding comedy and awesome action, but giving you a sloppy narrative, which overall is the main important thing in this movie. Alright, so for The Predator, I'm gonna give action 3 stars because there were a lot of great gory moments, but the sheer fact of the CGI and special effects quality just didn't push it to more stars for me. Comedy in the film, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. There's some great funny lines in here, nice moments of dialogue that make you laugh, but it's just so overplayed and really overshadows the overall film. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars because even though I appreciate the lore they added on top, the story is handled so sloppily and so incohesive that I just really notice all the little flaws in the narrative. Heart in the film, I'm gonna give it 1 star, and that's just for the blood and guts throughout the movie, but there's nothing really terrifying about these predators unless you're a child. Suspense in the film, I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars. There was no suspense built up into this film. There were moments where I was dying to see what was gonna happen to a character or someone in a situation. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B-. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a C+. And critically, I'm going to give it an F. For The Predator, I'm gonna suggest you rent it.
Play the movie.
That's just my opinion on the film, guys. If you got around to see it and absolutely loved it, please go ahead and let me know down below why. It's not a horrible Predator film. There's definitely been worser ones made. And in fact, if I had to rank them for you, it would be the original Predator. Then I would go with Predators 2010. This one, The Predator 2018. And lastly, Predators 2. I'm not counting the Alien vs. Predator movies because those are a thing of their own. But anyways, guys, please be sure to like and subscribe to this video. Go follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.